Welcome to another episode of Kookievision. In this video, I'm going to be making some golden crowns. So I've got a golden yellow here, and this is a piping consistency in a piping bag fitted with a number 2 tip, and I'm just tracing the outline of this crown cookie. Next, I'm going to flood the cookie with the same color in a flooding consistency that I have here in a squeeze bottle. And I'll just use my scribe tool to bring all that icing to the edges and get rid of any air bubbles. Now I'm going to let this cookie dry for 6 to 8 hours. I usually let my cookies dry overnight just to be safe. And I've got some super gold luster dust here that I've mixed with a touch of vodka. And I'm just going to go over the entire surface to give it a nice gold sheen. Now this part is optional, you don't have to use gold. The gold color is almost gold enough, but if you want to give it a nice gold shimmer, this is definitely a really eye-catching step. And make sure after you get into all those little nooks and crannies that you go over it one final time just to make sure that the brush strokes are in one direction. So I've let this dry for about 10 or 20 minutes, and I've got a nice dark deep red here, and this is a piping consistency, and I'm piping a gem shape, and this is a number 1 tip, and I'm just using my scribe tool to kind of get rid of any air bubbles in there. I'm also going to use the same piping consistency gold that we used to outline the crown, and this time it's a number 1 tip, and I'm going to give it a little bit of detail. So I'm going along the bottom with a few stripes, and then coming inwards towards the jewel with a few swirls. And then I'll do some details along these lines, some little dots, and some dots on the top as well as some more ornamental type decorative work as well. Now if you wanted all of these details to be gold like the background, you could always skip the luster dust step in the previous step and do the luster dust after you've added all the gold details, and then just do the gem afterwards. I've got some sugar pearls here, and while these dots are still wet, I'm just going to carefully place some sugar pearls on top of them. And I'm using a pair of tweezers. You could use your fingers, obviously, but this is a lot more precise, and you kind of skip the icing on your finger part. So I've let this crust over a little bit, and I'm using the same piping consistency deep red to outline the gem, and then I'm re-outlining it in the middle a little bit smaller, and I'm going to connect the corners of this outline towards the edges, and that creates some facets on the gem. It makes it look a lot more realistic and three-dimensional. And depending on the size of your cookie, you might actually have to do the detail work on the gem with probably a 00 or 000 tip, depending on how small it is. I've also got some turquoise here fitted with a number 1 tip. This is a piping consistency, and I just did a few extra gems, and it goes really nicely with the deep red and the gold as well. And we got some finished crowns here. These would be perfect for any sort of royal themed event, or maybe even like a princess party or something like that. So thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like me on Facebook and on Instagram. Bye!